Fellow Falcoholics, what is up? Welcome to episode 354 of the Falcoholic Live. I'm your host, Kevin Knight of Falcoholic. Kevin, he is, of course, Adnan Ikic at Say Which Way with his trademark Twizzlers in hand, in mouth. We are here once again, presented by FanDuel. And, Adnan, I was trying to inject a little optimism with this show title. I came up with this title this afternoon. Everything, I won't say everything is going well because, the Falcons are 3-6, right? Things aren't going well, but 3 winnable games coming up. It seems like the most Falcons thing imaginable would be to win these next 3 games and get us back in just so they could eventually stab us in the back, which we all know is the eventual, outcome of this season. But then we get a truly bizarre appearance for Michael Penix, which is probably deserving of an entire show on its own. And then we get some truly bizarre comments from Raheem Morris as well, that really just make me want to just throw my hands up. And, for the record, not angry at Michael Penix for saying these things. I'm actually kind of relieved that somebody said something, but, there's a lot of takes out there based on what was said on a Wednesday in Atlanta, and the only thing I could say is that the cracks are growing quickly in this Falcons football team. How are you doing so far tonight, Adnan?
Look, man, you know my opinions on the coach. I came into this season, ready to have cleaned house completely, and yeah, this isn't helping. The way the season has gone has been, fair, deep down, let's be honest, it was predictable. We didn't want to admit it to ourselves because how's that fun? Going into the season of expecting the team to be 3-6. But I mean, come on, it's the team has been out-coached every step of the way. This coaching staff has been just a complete joke when it comes to their processes. They've been a complete joke when it comes to just when it comes to the way they've dealt with the media, and now it's they're just straight up liars. I mean, we'll get to that. We'll get to the whole Darnell Mooney collarbone thing here in a little bit, but man, at this, I'm heated. I'm heated over the staff. In general, they should have been gone yesterday. They should have been gone after last season. And honestly, to me, the longer they're here, the more they stay, the more it shows me what an incompetent owner Arthur Blank is, because that's the person that's the common denominator in all of this. And that's the person where I'm really ready to really start pointing the finger at him, because really it's you look at his track record as the owner of this team since Matt Ryan left, and you just see everything you need to see with this franchise. But outside of all of that, I'm doing fine. I'm doing well.
outside of the world burning down, around us, everything's fine. We're all fine here. How are you?
Yeah. Today was a beautiful day outside. It's like in the.
Did you see Northern Lights yesterday?
The Northern Lights, I didn't see them myself. I saw that there was a lot of traction, especially if you're in the more northern states.
Yeah, it was totally clouded out. So I'm obsessed with the Northern Lights, guys. There's gonna be a Northern Lights segment at some point, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not as prevalent down here, but yeah, up in Canada and the northern states, I saw the pictures and it's damn,
yeah. No, I saw it for the first time last fall, and I've been trying to catch it for years, and it was totally clouded out last night. I was so mad. I couldn't see anything. My brother, who lives in Arkansas, was able to see it, so it was pretty far south. I even heard of some people in Florida with unobstructed northern views being able to see it. But tonight, there's another chance. So if you guys, after the show, of course, want to go out and take a look, it's possible, right? It's firing up right now, so in the next hour or two, could be visible again. So that's one of my hobbies. I love space weather, which before a couple years ago, I didn't even know space weather was a thing. I thought that was a joke from Family Guy. And actually it is a thing. So cool stuff. But we're going to save this is a good off season. This is a June show. So we're going to do the Northern Lights show in June for now. Going to stick to the Falcons. Not that there's, a lot of, positive things to say about the Falcons, but tough situation Atlanta's in right now. 3-6, 4-game losing streak. They could have won any of these games. I mean, the game that they stood the least chance in apparently was against the Dolphins, which is one of the most crazy things that you could ever say. But I mean, the Dolphins did just turn around and beat the Bills, but I mean, that's a division game, right? So I mean, that's a little bit different. But the Falcons hung with two of the top teams in the AFC. Probably should have beat both, if not for some really dumb mistakes, like a missed extra point. And then Jeff Ulbrich has his one like just crazy level defensive play call every game. It's okay. Like nobody's perfect, but that like, 4-man rush with man behind it on 3rd and 21, not a fan. Not a fan of that.
After he just had immense success running the blitz on both first down and second down. Like I was thinking to myself, all right, 3rd and 21, hit him again. Like he's flustered, like he's frazzled at that point. It's like you have a chance to really like, either force a really short pass, which is a win, or you have a chance to get him again, and then it's 4th and a mile, and instead it's no, we're not even going to put on a spy, even though Daniel Jones has burned us with his feet, and we'll just set up a nice 4th and 3. We'll let him get 18 yards.
Yep. So I don't have a lot, like, I have a couple of bones to pick with Jeff Ulbrich, but these are, like, reasonable things. It's like, oh, I didn't like this play call. I don't like that you seem to be obsessed with J.D. Bertrand. But at the end of the day, Jeff Ulbrich is not we're never going to agree with the coach 100%. That's unreasonable. So, like, on the whole, Jeff Ulbrich, 2 thumbs up with how you've handled this. The Falcons defense is ravaged with injuries. They've kept the lid on this thing. They've kept it going. I don't agree with everything that's been done, but Jeff, yeah. But I have so many other problems that are just higher on my list than Ulbrich and his occasional brain fart. So
the defense bent but didn't break. And I mean, look, I wasn't on the post game show, so I couldn't share any of my thoughts of the game back during then. But the defense, like, let's be honest. I feel like the Colts they deserve this win. I think the Colts did outplay the Falcons for the most part. The Falcons did get lucky with Michael Badgley, whom I've actually been saying is one of the worst kickers in the league for a while now. So I was vindicated a lot on Sunday with him missing the field goal and him missing the extra point. So that's 4 points. And then the Falcons defense sort of stifled them twice on 4th down, where on one of those plays, that was just Shane Steichen like galaxy braining that like toss play to Taylor. It's like, I feel like had they just like given him the ball up the middle again, the Falcons could not stop him. But the defense, we got lucky there. But the defense was on the field a lot. Like they were on the field for a lot during that game, especially given the way how the Colts were really establishing the run. And I mean, yeah, if you had Jonathan Taylor in fantasy or were playing against him, you knew just the impact he made in this game. But yeah, the other thing that you can't really fault Jeff Ulbrich for is the defensive players gave up on the play on the biggest play of the game, which was Taylor's 83-yard touchdown. And that's a direct quote from Jesse Bates, who said that, yeah, they all just sort of let up thinking that he was stopped. And then he just wasn't. And all of a sudden he stiff arms AJ Terrell, and, the guy who's probably the front runner for MVP at the moment is just streaking down the sideline and giving the Colts the lead. So, yeah, it's but even with that, I feel like the defense was, I guess, fine. Like they were fine.
That was an incredible play by Jonathan Taylor too. Like I don't want to discount that. Like there's very few running backs that could make that type of play. That was an exceptional MVP right caliber play. Yeah.
Like Taylor right now, I mean, not only is he carrying multiple fantasy teams that I have, but also like I would he for me, he is the MVP right now. Like if it's not him, just rename it best quarterback and just move on with it, because he is right now the most valuable player. And you saw that like straight up in that game. Like they gave him 32 carries, 35 touches, and he was incredible. Like he was incredible all afternoon. The Falcons could not really bottle him up very much. But yeah, I mean, like the offense was given plenty of chances, especially with really, really good field positioning. They got a couple drives in. They scored a couple drives, but I mean, come on, man. Like you get the ball first in overtime after some very confused reffing of redoing the coin toss.
The refs were struggling in this one pretty bad. So yeah.
And you essentially go 6 and out, not even 3 and out. You go 3 and out, they get busted for what looked like a soft holding, and you go 3 and out again, And it's like, come on, man. Like you have to do more. Like you cannot. Your defense is gassed. You're playing against this Colts team that is right now a historic offense. You cannot leave that drive without scoring some points. And then, of course, what ended up killing the Falcons more than anything was special teams. Like the Colts, I think they got 3 kickoff/punt returns beyond midfield in that game, including on the last drive in regulation when they were down 3, and then including in overtime where, all right, like you're just letting them set up shop on your side of the field because you can't tackle them and you can't cover them on these kickoffs. Like, do you know how bad your special teams is when the smart play, when the best play you could have done was kicking it out of the back of the end zone in 2025? Like at some point, it's like, all right, just boot it out of the back of the end zone. Let him get it at 35 and be done with it. But yeah, the team struggled in all 3 facets, a little less on defense. But it felt like when the defense was on, the offense wasn't. When the offense got it going a little bit, the defense couldn't. And then special teams was just sort of bad like throughout the game, excluding Zane Gonzalez. Zane Gonzalez did his job.
He looked pretty solid. Yeah, like those kicks were down the middle. I was actually like, after the first 2, I was like, oh, okay, I feel all right about this. Like this seems like a reasonable kicker at this point. I mean, I don't know if he can hit him from 50 plus or whatever, but those kicks were all right down the middle. So
he's done it in his career, but yeah. I'm more confident in Gonzalez than I was in Parker Romo, or Koo. But yeah, look, man, it's not. It's at the end of the day, sure, you played fine, but you were 3-5. You had to win this one. You had to beat the Patriots. You could not afford to leave these 2 games at 0-2. Losing that Dolphins game made that impossible. And now we sit here at 3-6, and now we're here ready to sort of dissolve and dissect a few the news that we've gotten about this coaching staff when it comes to maybe off the field and on the field stuff. And it's rough. It's not a good time right now to be a Falcons fan. And this is a lost season. Like there is nothing really to sort of look for anymore, because they have to go 7-0 or no
7-1
7-1
to be 10-7. Yeah.
And even 10 wins doesn't guarantee you anything in this year's NFC. So are you saying that this team is going to go 8-0? Like this season's down the drain as far as I'm concerned.
They have to beat the Bucs. That's the only path that's reasonable. And the Bucs are good. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, the Bucs are a good team. They have been absolutely ravaged, and they continue to be ravaged by injury. They're 6-3. Your only hope is that the Bucs scuffle. I mean, they play the Bills this week. They could lose again. Your only hope is that the Bucs scuffle and you can somehow like pass them up with like 9 wins. That's the only, like, you beat them and you're able to sort of somehow get this thing done with 9 wins or something like that. That's like, I mean, we're talking about like, this is getting ridiculous. Like we need the Bucs to basically fall apart to now, like, this has happened a lot in this NFC South. So maybe that's like, I mean, I feel like that's far more likely than getting to 10 wins at this point. So, but before we can even have any conversation about this team competing for anything other than giving away a top 5 pick, they got to win the next 3 games, right? So, like, if this team can come out and win these next 3 games, then we can have a conversation about, okay, what kind of crazy scenario could we have to potentially turn this thing around? But, like, that's where we are. It's like, yeah, you got to win 3 straight, and then we can talk about maybe there's a chance of, like, a low percentage play here. They're so far off now. It's like normally for most teams, a 3-game win streak could be like, oh yeah, well, now we're cooking. Now it's like, we got to win 3 games to get back to 500 and have a chance in hell at anything. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Every week we just add a new caveat onto these scenarios of like, well, now we need to do this to get to this. And it's like, all right, like at some point it's like, yeah, look, don't blame us for doing it because we have to produce the content. But yeah, at some point it's like, let's call a spade a spade. Like if it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and moves like a duck, it's a duck. And right now that duck is the Atlanta Falcons missing the playoffs for the 8th straight season, which, depending on what the Panthers do, will be the 2nd longest playoff drought in the NFL. It's already the joint 2nd longest playoff drought right now with Carolina. the only team with a longer drought is surprise the New York Jets. So
Don't have to worry about that one this year. Yeah.
I don't think we'll have to worry about that one for a few years.
Yeah, we have a little bit more wiggle room there, but yeah, it's bad, man. This conference is strong this year, and you just couldn't afford to. You can't lose the layup games. Like, very few teams can get away with losing the layups. You can usually afford some division losses because that's what it is. Like, even like in division, you're gonna lose some games. It happens, but you can't lose to the Miami Dolphins. You can't lose. You can't lose to any of these next three teams you're playing. That's for sure. So that's just where we are, and like somehow and you look at it, it's like the Panthers are 5-5. Their point differential is worse than Atlanta. So, this Falcons team should be better.
And that's just beating the Falcons 30-0.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have a team like the Jaguars have a negative point differential, and they have 5 wins. The Texans have a plus 50 point differential, and they only have 4 wins. So it's just funny looking at how some of these things stack up. But the Falcons have not been fortunate. They've also just not finished games, and it's been a standby of Raheem Morris so far, and it was a standby of the Arthur Smith teams too. So it's kind of where we are. It's unfortunate, and this team is it's falling apart. And we're sort of like just once again in this dark place where all of a sudden this team this year couldn't even keep us invested through November. I mean, it's just sad, but we got a couple donations, and we'll continue down this path. We got a lot to cover tonight, guys. We got Solaire with the $5. What's up, Solaire? He says the locker room is gone. Civil War, baby. Only an American hero like Mike McCarthy can save the day. Just kidding. I'm Team Kubiak, especially if his dad comes along. Yeah, Clint Kubiak, blank check, whatever it takes. Like, or Kevin Stefanski. I'll accept Kevin Stefanski too. Apparently Stefanski and New York Giants is a thing, so that just means Kubiak's available. So yeah, let's go. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is Atlanta's job is not going to be the most desirable one. So, and also like I don't know, like Arthur Blank has this habit of overreacting to anything negative. And I don't know if he's going to be very willing to hire a first-time head coach on the offensive side of the ball after after it didn't work out with Arthur Smith. Because I mean, we say it with Blank, he to this day will never consider anyone from college because of Bobby Petrino, even though that burned him 18 years ago. So it's just I don't know. I would love Clint Kubiak. I would love Clint Kubiak. I would love Kevin Stefanski. Honestly, even someone like a Mike McDaniel. I feel like Mike McDaniel, he's not going to really get a head coaching job for a while, but I feel like he was really sort of hard done by the Tua concussions. Like, he had that Dolphins team humming before then. But yeah, at this point, I feel like they probably won't have a choice but to get a retread like a Mike McCarthy. And I don't know if that's the worst thing ever, because if Mike McCarthy can come in here and do what he's done in Dallas and in Green Bay and make this just a consistent playoff team where they fall short in the playoffs, that would be 4 steps ahead of where this team is right now. I would love to have the issue of, we make it to the divisional round and we just can't get over the hump. That would be fantastic. Let me sign up for that right now for the Falcons over the next few years, because otherwise we're just sort of,
Yeah.
I don't even want to say we're in purgatory. We're in hell right now.
Yeah. I feel like that we're back. We've come full circle to the Mike Smith era, where I think Mike Smith is just a better version of Mike McCarthy, or at least he was. But I feel like he's kind of that type of coach, just a no nonsense guy that's just going to come in here and install just an adult culture and just kind of get people back on track. Mike McCarthy is the least sexy hire you could ever imagine. I mean, it is what it is, but you're absolutely right. It's everyone would just trash the hire, and I would not like it. But maybe what this team needs is a Mike Smith to come in and just get these guys back to just like basic winning habits. And yeah, Mike McCarthy's not going to get you over the hump. He's not going to win you playoff games, but I don't even care about winning playoffs. I just want to get to the playoffs. Like, how about we just get back to the dance and then we can talk about improving. But like, I mean, it's just, yeah.
I feel like an important thing right now at this point for the franchise, given where they are, is you need someone to instill a culture. And we saw that Mike Smith did a hell of a job with that in 2008 because this team was in complete disarray after 07. It's not as bad now as it was back then, given all the stuff around Michael Vick. But it's pretty damn bad right now, and you could really use someone like you said. It would not be the worst thing in the world to just get an adult in the room and someone that's gonna revamp the culture and just sort of, just get you back to default, get you back to like middle of the pack of this, because right now this team is just a straight laughing stock. Like this team's level, this franchise right now is on the same level as the Jets. It's on the same level as the Browns. It's on the same level as the Panthers. The Panthers are actually doing a little better than you this year as well. It's really, really bad. And honestly, if you bring in a Mike McCarthy, I'll be fine with it. I'll shrug my shoulders and be like, yeah, it's not sexy, but you know what? I get it. Like bring someone in with a proven track record who can sort of, just get you to the playoffs. That would be immense compared to where we are right now.
Yeah.
Even though he wouldn't be my first choice, of course.
Yeah, same. It's like I would still go for the bold hire with Clint Kubiak because I think that's good process, even if it doesn't always work. I mean, Arthur Smith, again, we've said it. Like, Arthur Smith was good process. He had all the hallmarks that you look for, like multiple years of production, great in the red zone, great on third down, all that stuff. Like, this is all the hallmarks you look for. It didn't work out, but it was good process. And then, of course, like Arthur Blank is want to do, he was like, nope. But the problem was that I hired an offensive coach. It's like, nope. The problem was that Arthur Smith just didn't evolve, that was the issue, so keep going back to the offensive well, but yeah, I mean,
maybe we get Matt LaFleur if the Packers
sure.
are stupid enough to,
let's go
hire their head coach. Like that's a guy I would give a blank check to right now.
But. Yeah, him, Stefanski. I mean, I would even consider Mike McDaniel, obviously, if he gets fired. We'll see, but yeah, there's just like the ceiling is the floor, so like we can go wherever. I mean, and you keep coming back to people like, oh, no one would ever come here. It's like Kellen Moore took the Saints job. Like that was the worst job I've ever seen, and it took forever for the Saints to convince someone to take it. But like that job was way worse than the Falcons job this year. Like there's no doubt about that.
Here's the thing, like there's only 32 of these in the world, like NFL head coaching jobs. You're gonna get someone, like of course, like if LaFleur is available, I don't think it's gonna be him because he's gonna have better options. Ben Johnson can pick and choose sort of, and he can wait it out, and that's sort of what he did in waiting, and going back to Detroit, and then that Chicago job with Caleb Williams opened up. So there's these very, very hot commodities where, they can pick and choose, but that's very rare. And outside of them, it's like if you're a coordinator and you have a chance at one of these jobs, it's a very big risk for you to not take it. Like we saw what happened. We saw it with Bobby Slowick in Houston, where he was a hot commodity that offseason in 2023, and a year later he was fired. Like I feel like Ben Johnson took the same risk, but it's just the Detroit Lions offense kept humming with him, so he ended up being fine. But if the Lions offense completely regressed or fell off a cliff, like Ben Johnson would not be anywhere either. Like even with the Falcons, go back to 2017, Marquand Manuel was looked at as maybe the next guy, like to get a head coaching job. That Falcons defense was top 10. It was that Falcons team that made the playoffs, made the divisional round. It was held back by the offense. It was held back by Sark that year, not the defense. What happened a year later? Marquand Manuel got fired, like in just 1 year later. So these coordinators understand that you got to strike while the iron is hot. there's only going to be a handful of these head coaching jobs that are available. One of them is going to be in Atlanta. And hey, like, come to Atlanta. Well, Arthur Blank is going to be loyal to you, overly loyal to you, the way that he was overly loyal to the last two or three head coaches. So, it's not that you'll be able to get someone.
Yeah, you definitely can at some point. Like that's not going to be an issue. But yeah, if we're talking about like the top tier candidates, like Ben Johnson wouldn't take this job more than likely unless he loved Michael Penix. And I think there are lots of coaches that did really like Penix, so that could be something that works in the favor. But I think like you look at Kubiak with Sam Darnold, like Penix is. A lot of people compare Penix to Tua. He's not anything like Tua, guys. I don't really get that. Other than the fact that they're left-handed, that's really the only thing. Penix is much more similar to Sam Darnold. Good Sam Darnold, for the record. Like Penix, as bad as people think Penix has been, go watch Sam Darnold tape from like his first 3 years in the NFL. If you want to see bad quarterback play, so like we're nowhere near that. But like in terms of like guy with a cannon arm, that's not the best under pressure at this point. Can move around a little bit, but just loves to take deep shots and stuff. Like that Kubiak offense is perfect for what Atlanta wants to do. That you could plug and play that with minimal changes here, and I think that would be a great fit. Let's continue on here. We got Alex Foster with the $5. Thank you, Alex. Says, when it comes to this team, in the words of Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State, I don't even care. Just get out of my life. Yeah, it's a good show.
Shout out to Blue Mountain State, by the way. If you guys haven't seen it, that's a hell of a show. It's a very, very funny. I remember watching it in college.
Yeah, a bit raunchy, so be prepared, but yeah.
it is raunchy, but yeah, great. I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not.
I think it is, yeah.
But yeah, very much very easy show to watch. I think it's like a 20-minute, like an episode comedy. I think there's like 2 or 3 seasons. But yeah, very, very good show.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good quote. Couldn't say it better myself. We got Love Dogs Avery with the 5. Thanks, Avery. Says Blank seems like a nice man, but I think he's forgotten how to run a football team. I think Blank has just become too. He's become too emotional about it. I think like just too personally invested in the coaches themselves. Like he needs to like vibe with somebody, and like it. And that's all fine. Like, I mean, you own the team. You can do whatever you want. But it's like, we can't, like, that can't be the main thing. The main thing can't be like, how do I vibe with this guy? How nice is this guy? How does he like, we need like more, like, that's a good like cherry on top. Like if I have to choose between an asshole and a nice guy and their qualifications are the same otherwise, I'm going to pick the nice guy, obviously. Like, I think that's probably better for everyone. But like, I feel like that's like a little too highly rated on the scale. Like at a certain point, we just need to make sure we're hiring the right coach, not just the nicest coach. So
what I'm going to say is going to sound mean.
Okay, buckle up, folks. Yeah.
My take isn't that Arthur Blank has forgotten how to run a football team. My take is actually that Arthur Blank probably never knew how to run one in the first place. I know it sounds mean. But
you did warn us, yeah.
I mean, you look at it. I feel like the main reason, and Arthur Blank is going to get a lot of credit for the Falcons looking a lot better than they have throughout their history before his ownership, which the owners before Blank were somehow even worse. Shout out to Rankin Smith and the previous ownership. The main reason that the Falcons had the success that they had from 2008 through 2017 was Matt Ryan. I think we can all sort of agree to that. And I feel like Arthur Blank was sort of in the right place at the right time to be the owner as Matt Ryan sort of fell into Atlanta's lap. And he did yeoman's work in just carrying this franchise. And then, of course, we know how Arthur Blank sort of thanked him by going after a guy with many allegations in Deshaun Watson and Matt Ryan leaving to Indianapolis. But like even during those successful days, like Arthur Blank was still highly emotional. You remember the biggest thing that stands out to me is the Julio Jones saga, where the Falcons are in the middle of negotiation with Julio Jones, who was demanding a new contract, even though he had like 3 years left on his own contract because the guaranteed money ran out. Well, too damn bad. Like, you signed the deal. And Arthur Blank sort of undercuts Thomas Dimitroff at the knees by going to the media and publicly saying, "Oh, no, Julio is going to be a Falcon for life. Oh, we're keeping Julio no matter what." And it's like, okay, well, you just sort of destroyed some of your own leverage there. But honestly, like, if it wasn't for Matt Ryan, and I think we see it now after Matt Ryan has left, and Arthur Blank has owned this football team for about 5 years since then, or 4 years since then. But Matt Ryan was old toward the end there. I feel like if Matt Ryan was never in the picture, we would be looking at Arthur Blank the same way we look at some of the worst owners in the league, like a Woody Johnson and Jimmy Haslam. It's just the main difference between those guys and Ryan and Blank is that Blank was lucky enough to luck into a franchise quarterback who ended up being the greatest Falcon of all time in his tenure. Honestly, like, I don't think Blank is a good football owner. Like, I think he's a good guy, very, very charitable man. Thanks to him for bringing Atlanta United here and for, the soccer culture he's established. But, to be honest with you, if you take away Ryan, like, he hasn't been great as a football owner in general. So, yeah, that's my hot take on this. And I honestly am just not very confident in this franchise unless you're telling me that a franchise quarterback is going to once again fall into their laps. And I mean, yeah, we don't know about Penix if he's going to be a franchise quarterback or not. But yeah, like, I think I don't think Arthur Blank is a very good owner, to be honest with you.
He certainly seems to have learned the wrong lessons from every step. Like with the Pacino thing, he sort of course corrected to Mike Smith, and that was a good hire. And then I think ultimately, like, the Dan Quinn hire was also good, but it seemed like, and again, like, the Arthur Smith hire, even I don't think was bad, but it's like, it seems like every time it's like he's kind of just like going in the wrong direction. Like, I mean, I agree with the Smith hire, but after Smith, it was like, now we have to course correct again. It's like you're finally getting it that, like, we can't rely on a defensive coach because every time we get an offensive coordinator worth a damn, he's just going to leave and take a head coaching job. And then it's like, you go with Arthur Smith, he ends up not being the guy, and then you just go right back to the defensive coach again. But maybe it's not even about that. Maybe it's just like he just wants coaches he knows personally or is comfortable with, like, because we saw it, like, they went back to Dirk Cutter, they went back to all these guys, and like yeah,
Morris was in the building as interim coach. They went away from him, and 3 years later they're like, no, never mind, he's going to be our coach again. It's the emotion. Like, even Rich McKay was your general manager in 2007. He did such a bad job that he was fired. And instead of, giving him his walking papers, wishing him well, Arthur Blank promoted him to president of football ops. And I mean, Richard McKay has been around the franchise forever, and who knows how much of an impact he's had over the past few years. But again, I'm telling you, Matt Ryan covered so many warts with this franchise that now that he's gone, you see the negative impact of Blank, you see the negative impact of McKay. You just see what a circus it is at Flowery Branch right now. Like, it's an absolute clown show these days.
Yeah. And I do know we had Martavian ask in the comments about basically saying, like, the Falcons chose Morris over Mike Vrabel. That is true. Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, and Ben Johnson. The last three are not true. Well, they did choose him over Bill Belichick, but that was correct. You don't want to go down that road. Just trust me on that. Be glad they didn't go down that road. But Jim Harbaugh was going to Los Angeles the whole time. He was not a serious candidate here. Ben Johnson also, when the Falcons were hiring, wasn't taking any jobs. Like, he was already decided to stay with the Lions. Now, maybe you could have made him like a Godfather offer or something like that. I mean, I could have got behind that, but he didn't take a coaching job that year. So, I think that's a little bit of
the two guys like Vrabel, and I'm not
Vrabel definitely. Yeah.
I'm not buying this whole shtick of, oh, no, Vrabel is actually going to New England no matter what. Then why didn't the Patriots hire him that offseason? The Patriots also had a vacant head coaching job. Like, Mike Vrabel was actively interviewing. I think, did he have, like, I don't know if he had 2 interviews with the Falcons or not, but he was, like, actively, like interviewing in spots. And I remember like obviously like my number one was Ben Johnson, but I remember thinking like, how is this dude not a head coach? Like what he did in Tennessee was immense. And I was all for bringing Vrabel over here. He was one of my top candidates. He was one of my top guys. And you see it in New England. He immediately established that culture over there. And I feel like if they went the route of hiring Mike Vrabel, this franchise would have been in a much, much better situation the past 2 years. But even beyond Vrabel, the other big name that's having a lot of success right now is McDonald over with the Seahawks. Like
Yeah.
he has the Seahawks just the Seahawks are kicking ass and taking names in the NFC right now. Like that looks like at the moment arguably the scariest team in the conference. And I mean, he's someone from Georgia. He did interview for the job. And at the end of the day, like the team went with, and I think he was there for the taking too. Like I feel like if you make him an offer, he would have come to Atlanta. But at the end of the day, the team still chose Morris over both he and Mike Vrabel, and that was a huge misstep. Giving Morris a 5-year contract was also a huge misstep because who are you competing with for Raheem Morris? Who else was going to make him an offer? Like I don't get it. And I mean, well, I get that it's the emotion. It's the emotion of he was in the building. But do you really want to bring someone back that was in the building while this team was bad? That was in the building while this team, blew that Super Bowl. That was like a part of that culture of losing in the aftermath in the aftermath of post 2017. Because Morris was still here in 2018, 2019. He was the interim in 2020. There's a reason why you decided not to make him the head coach, because that would have just been an extension of that Dan Quinn era that, flamed out and that all of us were sort of over at that point. And you decided after, a failure with Arthur Smith of, no, we're actually just going to go back to that. I still don't understand the logic. I don't understand the reasoning behind going back to that. And I mean, yeah, it just sort of, it's nothing more than emotion. And when you have an owner that sort of leads with emotion and just like with what he's feeling, and he leads with whatever the vibes are, you'll get the result the Falcons have gotten over the last 2 years. It starts at the top.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all that. I think it's just it's not been run well from top to bottom, and we're dealing with a lot of consequences of the way that it's been, I guess the way that it's been run, the process and all that, it's been poor. And we're seeing the consequences of that with, trickle down through basically the whole staff. And, probably should have been a bigger red flag also with Raheem Morris bringing in two completely untested coordinators. I know everyone was really excited about Robinson, and that's how it goes with offensive coordinators sometimes, is where like you have to be the first, like if you want the premium up and comers, you have to be the one to give them the chance. And obviously that's
Kubiak in Seattle.
Yeah, like, exactly. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like I don't have a problem with that process, but I
Sean
do have
in Washington. Like Sean McVay was like what 28 when Washington hired him as OC as like main play caller. Look, I'll throw my hands up about Robinson. Like all I was wrong. Like I was completely wrong about Zach Robinson. It is what it is. Can't get them all right. I'm sorry. I'll admit it. We were very pro Zach Robinson. We were very excited. It's it happens. But now like you've seen that it doesn't work, and you're still not like changing anything. That's the issue. And I think that can take us to the Michael Penix press conference.
Yeah. I think we had a couple more coaching questions here. So before we change gears, let me get to these real quick. We got George with the 2. Thank you, George, saying, "Hear me out. Would it be so bad to fire this coaching staff and hire Mike McCarthy?" We did talk about that. And bring in Brian Dable as OC. He turned Josh Allen from a turnover machine into an MVP and was bringing Dart along. Why not? We need stability. Look, Dable as an offensive coordinator, I think is fantastic. I think it's been shown that he's just not a great overall team leader, but his offenses have typically performed, and I think as an offensive coordinator, he has a great track record. So yeah, that would be nice. I could get behind that. We got Ro Staxon with the $10. Thank you, Ro. saying problem with Raheem is that he can't coach. So even if we get a new OC, that's not going to fix the issues. It's dysfunctional. We still have the same issues every week for 4 weeks. And he's very stubborn with making changes. That is a big concern for sure. That's why I'm also in favor of just moving on. I don't think we can just fix this with. I mean, you could fix some issues with the OC, but I think the overall malaise of the team would not improve. We got Jason Gaines with $2. Thank you, Jason. Says, I'd like to give a shout out to 680 the Fan and ATL for coming up with a new nickname for Raheem Morris. Look up in the sky, Kevin and Adnan. It's a bird, it's a plane. Wait. We got to find, the quote was, we got to find a way to snap out of it and really go. Find a way, man. Sorry, I got tripped up in the middle of the quote. We got to find a way to snap. Okay, I butchered that quote, but yes, I got to go watch that now because I'm sure their delivery was like infinitely better than mine. But yes, it's find a way, man. Yeah.
We won't be the only ones looking up. So will Raheem Morris, because that's apparently all he does on that sideline.
I mean, I don't know how he doesn't have neck problems at this point. He's always looking up at the Jumbotron. So.
Every single time they cut him. I was surprised he could make it through that entire game in Berlin. Because the Olympiastadion was built in the 30s and it does not have a jumbotron, so it's like how would he know?
What was he doing?
Maybe that's why he actually was involved, like on the sideline and calling that 2-point conversion. Toward the end of the game. Otherwise, he'd just be doing this.
Yeah, that's my goodness. Yep. That's sorry, Jason. I butchered your quote, but I think I get it now. So hopefully we recovered a little bit there. We got Alex Foster with the 5. Thanks, Alex. Says, sorry, that was a dramatic question. That said, if Ulbrich were to take over and looked really good, who would you want to be our coordinators? I think Dable's an intriguing option. Obviously, if Mike McDaniel gets fired, I think that's a good one to consider. In terms of the defense, I guess I don't know. Probably whoever Ulbrich likes, just because Ulbrich's probably going to call the plays. But I mean, maybe Jerry Gray takes over. Maybe you keep the defensive staff mostly intact and you promote Jerry Gray, or maybe one of these other. Maybe to keep Nate Ali in the building, you just promote him, give him a promotion because he's been working some miracles too. So I would do a lot to keep him around. Maybe those two guys. So we'll see. I mean, there's going to be a lot more firing, so there will be more options on the table too by the time we get there. But
yeah, let's. I'm with you, Dable, and McDaniel is my top guy for OC right now. Like, I think he's a very, very talented play caller. I mean, look, Nate Ollie deserves his chance. Who knows? Maybe you reunite with Ryan Nielsen possibly. As a potential, even though he did completely flame out in Jacksonville. He's still a cult hero in Atlanta, though. It doesn't take much. Doesn't take much to become a cult hero in Atlanta as a defensive coordinator, given how low that bar is. I think we're at the point of like, let's first see who we get as a head coach, and then let's start focusing on coordinators. That's gonna give us some good material here in February and March.
That's the one upside. Yeah. Because we don't have a first to talk about, so maybe we can talk about a coaching search at the very least.
We can't talk about coordinators now. We cannot flame out all our material at the moment.
Got to hold on to something. But then we have EBDB with the $2 saying
on mock drafts.
Yeah. I got some spicy ones. Don't worry, guys. But not yet. We got to let that slide a little bit longer. But EBDB with the 2 says, in this house, we call him Mr. Jumbotron. I like that, too. That's a good one. All right. So you mentioned it. The press conferences, the comments, what's going on with all this stuff. Man, what a day. I was not expecting fireworks from Wednesday press conferences, but at this point, I mean, I guess everything's on the table because this is like this house of cards is tumbling down. But I haven't listened to the full Penix quote. I saw it while I was at dinner, so I couldn't listen to it. I mean, I heard the transcription and I've heard the takes on it, obviously. I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it yet, Adnan, but it's very concerning at the very least. Certainly doesn't sound good.
Yeah, it's which part? Which part do you want to talk about first?
Well, I guess I don't know if we should start with Penix and what he was saying, or if we want to start with Mooney. I mean, the Mooney thing's very cut and dry. Like, I don't really need to listen to anything about that. But I know, like, Penix had some words to share. I mean, I haven't had a chance to listen to the whole thing, so I've just kind of
Yeah.
read the transcript.
So just so that you guys see, I'm trying to find the exact transcript just so that I'm not like misquoting anything, because we
I know
are
there were some accusations that there were misquotes going on, so I do want to be sensitive to that. But.
like I would love to like and look, it's not we're not super we're not being super prepared because we didn't have this like pulled up already, but I would like to say exactly what he said verbatim.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to like find, because this is going to take too much time. The gist is basically that he's saying that he doesn't really have anyone to like rely on, like on the sidelines, which is very sort of damning. Given that like what's the quarterback coach doing? What's the offensive
DJ
coordinator?
Williams got promoted because TJ Yates is now like the wide receivers coach too. So
what's the head coach doing here? Like why does your young quarterback, who is in de facto his rookie season, why is he having to say that like he doesn't have anyone he can sort of like turn to, like on the sidelines, like during these games?
Yeah.
It's just sort of it's completely damning on this offensive staff. It's damning on Raheem Morris as the head coach. And especially when you sort of look at some of these other head coaches, like you look at Vrabel and Drake May, and we talked about Vrabel like earlier. And I mean, he's coaching him up. He's talking to him. It doesn't matter that Vrabel's not an offensive guy, that he's a defensive-minded guy. You saw Jim Harbaugh always had that like reputation as that quarterback whisperer type thing. And it's like, meanwhile, you have like Michael Penix, who's a young quarterback who looks honestly damn near broken. Like after the press conference after that like Colts game was just sort of sad. Like he looked like he was like on the verge of tears. And it looks like his confidence is fully shaken. It looks like, and I mean, now is like the time when you really have to build him up, because there can be some like genuine damage that happens to him, like in his psyche as a quarterback, because this is psychologically maybe the toughest position to play in sports. And he's basically like telling you through the media that he sort of feels alone, like on that sideline. And look, man, if this isn't reason enough to completely clean house of this coaching staff, I don't know what is, because it's like it's completely damning at this point.
Yeah. There's definitely some questions about the coaching that he's been getting, and we've been talking about that but it's like we don't necessarily, like, it's kind of like crazy that it's gotten to this point where like we can tell you guys that it looks like Penix isn't getting good coaching. They're not really crafting things to help him out. They're not really setting him up for success and all these things. It's another thing when like you start hearing the quarterback say stuff about this. And it's incredibly concerning. And like it's just, we can't have this. Like, and I think part of this obviously has to do with there not really being any experienced coaches on this part of the staff. Like Zach Robinson's basically a rookie OC or a second year OC. He doesn't have this experience. Like TJ Yates is also a relatively new quarterbacks coach. He's only ever really worked with veterans, and Desmond Ridder, which we're not really gonna count that among good work. And then DJ Williams is like an assistant QB coach, and this was his first really opportunity to do this. And he is a former QB, so he certainly has some experience there. But I just don't. It's sort of just putting words to what we already kind of understand. And I know there's been a lot of backtracking, and the PR machine has been out in full force saying like, oh, Penix didn't mean that. He meant something else. And like, until I like listened to the whole thing myself, I'm not really going to get into the nitty gritty of what he said or didn't say. But the fact that we're even having this conversation, that his words could be misconstrued easily to sound like this, is very concerning, because this Penix is a professional. Like, I would say like his press conference attitude and what he says is all very professional. He's not someone that mouths off or does anything. I think he's just frustrated. And it's just it's we really shouldn't be like having this conversation or even approaching this with our young quarterback. Like it should we should be able to see on the sideline when he goes to the bench someone there going over plays with him, and I don't think I've ever seen that this season.
Yeah,
So
it's like
it bears it out.
Like you see it's become such a common thing. It's just like sort of instinctive, especially after a quarterback like makes a mistake. A young quarterback too, where it's like you and veterans, it's like they're like on the iPad and like the quarterback coach or the OC is like sitting beside them and they're like going over like what just happened. Like you have that technology, you have that ability, and it's like, yeah, it's like it's not happening, and you're sort of now doing a disservice to your young quarterback. You're now like this coaching staff can harm him like career wise.
Yeah.
Like can fully harm him, harm his development. They can kill his development, not just harm it at this point, because like pretty much developing a young quarterback is such a fragile thing, like in the NFL. And we see it. There's very few quarterbacks that end up being, competent NFL starters. And it's very difficult to develop one, even if he was a high draft pick. I think the stat is like among top 10 picks, like more than half of them turn into like busts. And
Yeah.
outside the top 10, it's much worse. It's even worse. Outside the first round, you can name off the top of your head, maybe on like one hand, like the guys that really became like sort of stars. But yeah, it's like it goes to the question begs, like, is this coaching staff the right one to develop Michael Penix? The answer is no. Like, I don't even think that we have to like debate it or philosophically discuss like the possibilities. I think it's just straight up no. And yeah, it's not a good thing. And you mentioned, Kevin, like the inexperience of the coaching staff. It goes back to what's the main reason why they went with Raheem Morris, because they told us like from the start, oh well, he's not a rookie head coach. He's an experienced head coach. He's been a head coach before, so we don't have to go through any rookie pains. Not only did the Falcons still have to go through rookie pains, but the rookie pains that they had to go through with the Raheem Morris in year one and now in year two is worse than what I've seen from other rookie head coaches, and it's just continued into year two. Like at some point, just have to admit, like he's going through these pains not because he's a young head coach. It's just because he's not a good head coach. It's because he's an incompetent head coach, and we have an incompetent coaching staff. We have an incompetent owner. And it's just like it's sheer incompetence. Again, like it goes back to my comment. This Flowery Branch is not like Flowery Branch these days is less a football organization and more of a circus. Like that's what the Atlanta Falcons are, and it's just a clown show at the top and throughout the entire building right now.
Yeah, it's rough, and we'll definitely be digging more into this stuff, and I assume this is going to be a national story after today too. So we'll get a lot of analysis on this from a lot of folks, and we'll break it down. I don't want to go too far without the full context, but it's very concerning that we're even getting close to this mark at this point. There's no doubt about that. So we're gonna close out with some Darnell Mooney talk, because that's the one that's really going to get our blood boiling. But real quick, got a couple more donations. Thank you guys so much, by the way, for that. We got Jason Gaines with the $2. Quote from Raheem: "We got to find a way to convert these third downs." Morris has said this exact type of quote verbatim in the last 4 post-game press conferences. He sounds like a monotone robot that's been infected by a computer virus. He just keeps repeating. Yeah. No, that in some ways that would be more convenient, Jason, if it was a virus, because then we could just get some like antivirus software in here and just clean it out. But unfortunately, not that simple of a fix for us. We got Love Dogs Avery with the 5. Thanks, Avery. Says, I listened to the press conference from Penix in real time, and I think it's taken out of context. Very fair, Avery. Again, that's why we're kind of trying to be a little bit couched with this, because again, I want to give the benefit of the doubt, and I really don't think Penix is trying to like throw the team under the bus. I think he's too professional to do that, but the fact that we're like getting even close to this is very concerning. Very concerning. And then we got Jason Gates the 2 saying, So if people are interested in listening to the 680 the fan joke about the find a way man, the it's titled Falcons in Turmoil: The Accountability Hour, and it's about 137 in the video, so you guys can check that out. Yeah, good plug there, Jason. Love 680 the fan. Those guys are good. Enjoy listening to their stuff. Also, they've plugged me in the past, so hat tip. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Shout out to 680 the fan. The other thing that I like about 680 the fan is they're not letting the Falcons get away with it. Like they are torching the Falcons like on those shows, and from what I've seen, like clipped online, like they are not like it's to the point where Rich McKay went on 680 the fan, and they had like an 18-minute interview with him, and they did not like let up at all like with him. So yeah, they're doing some good work over there at that radio station for sure.
Yeah, definitely enjoy those guys. It's good to get multiple perspectives on stuff, and I think they're a little bit less tied to the Falcons organization. Not saying anything other than that, but it just is the fact of the matter. But yeah, this Darnell Mooney stuff. So Raheem Morris speaking of radio, goes on 92.9 The Game and just blurts out that Darnell Mooney has a broken collarbone. After saying he had a shoulder injury, which, guys, like, technically the collarbone is vaguely attached to the shoulder, but it's not a shoulder injury. I think you would label it a collarbone or neck even, I guess, at that point. That is very different than the story we have been told for months. And I got a lot of thoughts on this, but I know you have thoughts too, Adnan. So
look,
yeah.
We have complained in the past about this team's vagueness when it comes to injuries, and I guess that's just Morris's style of he wants the competitive advantage. Not that this team has done anything with any sort of a competitive advantage since Morris has been here. They went 8-9, and now they're 3-6. So yeah, great job with that advantage you have right now. But yeah, like this feels like he just lied. Like this feels like this isn't even like vagueness of the injury. Like the collarbone is not the shoulder. Like that's just not true. Like when they talked about, so they said the day after the injury, Zach Klein reported it. He was given the directive from the team that it was a shoulder injury, and we were told, and they just kept everyone in the dark about this being, it's a shoulder injury. He'll be back toward the end of camp. And he wasn't. Like, they lied about that. He was not back toward the end of camp. He was not ready for week 1. I don't remember. He didn't play in week 2, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's the thing is, like, had you known that it was, and you knew that it was a broken collarbone, that it takes at least 2 months for a broken collarbone to heal. Why did you not address the roster at all? Like, it would be one thing. It would be one thing if it was a Storm Norton situation where, he got hurt and what the injury was. And then what I'm assuming happened with Storm Norton is that he aggravated the injury. If this was a shoulder injury and you were expecting him to be back toward the end of training camp and he had a setback, that's it is what it is. But you knew for a fact that Darnell Mooney was going to miss weeks and weeks of the regular season, that he was not going to come back at 100% right away. And instead, like, you didn't even address the roster, like, at all. Like, that this wide receiver room is very, very shallow beyond Darnell Mooney. And then, of course, the issues with Ray McLeod, which nobody even knows what the hell happened there. Like, that just compounded everything to the point where, one, you just straight up lied to everyone about what the injury was. There is no, like, vagueness. It's the shoulder, not the collarbone. And two, you were so negligent with the roster, even knowing what the injury was from the very beginning. It's malpractice. It's coaching malpractice. Honestly, like, if the franchise gets fined for this, I'd be completely fine with that. Like, if Raheem Morris got fined for this, I'd be fine with that, because it was straight up like lying. And it's a clown show. It's a circus. It's a clown show. I'll say it again. Raheem, like like this is not someone who is fit to be the head coach of a franchise. And I cannot wait for my franchise to move on from him. The sooner the better. It should have happened yesterday.
Yeah. And, I think someone mentioned like that I had said, like, I think he has a broken collarbone, like in the Colts postgame show. I did say that. And, um, there was, full disclosure, like there was a little bit of buzz about him having a broken collarbone. And, we obviously didn't report it because it's not, we can't verify this stuff. So we're not going to tell you guys stuff that, we can't verify.
Look, but I did have a source that told me at the very beginning of camp, hey, it's probably a collarbone. But again, like Kevin said, we couldn't verify it with anyone, so it would have been unethical for us to sort of report that. And after we can only go by what the team tells us at that stage. And the team came out, they said it's a shoulder, and I was like, okay. Yeah, it's probably
maybe not. Yeah, but
cut and dry, open and shut. But yeah, it turns out no, it was a collarbone.
It actually was a collarbone.
And yeah, they died.
Yep. So it is what it is. It's like Raheem has a problem with this, where he just lies about things that don't need to be lied about, and like you said, there is coach speak and there is obfuscation, and like. Coaches lie every press conference. It's part of the job. Like it's like an art form in some ways, but there's like coach speak and obfuscation and all these things that are normal, and nobody really gets upset about that because it's just part of the job. And like part of the job for the reporters is trying to like navigate it and figure out, what's really happening there. But why is what I want to know. Like what do we have to gain from hiding the nature of this injury to such an extent to where it's like we're not just like being like it is the case that in the training camp and you don't have to report injuries with the same level of in-depth coverage that you do when you get to weekly injury reports during the season. So like they could keep it vague then. But once the regular season started, they had a requirement to disclose if they knew this was a serious injury that they did not fulfill. So I think there's a legitimate chance that they are going to get in trouble for this, because this is beyond just like a simple nomenclature change. This is like we went from saying this was an injury we're expecting to be back from in a couple weeks to saying that this was a broken collarbone this man wasn't going to be recovered from for months. And like, even if he could play, you still have to report it. Like, so it's just,
these are big rules. Like this isn't us like complaining about, oh, he's lying to the media. Like the NFL takes this stuff seriously, especially nowadays, given, how cozied up they are with all the gambling, like sports books. Like this stuff, like we saw it with Bijan Robinson a couple of years ago, where Bijan only played like one snap. Like the team got fined for that. For
yeah, it was Arthur Smith. He was just like, "Oh yeah, Bijan was sick, but I didn't want to say anything." You can't do that. Like you can't just not do. You can't just report it.
There's a reason why teams disclose, like put up injury reports every week. I guarantee you, every single coach, if he could choose, would hide every single injury. But the league doesn't allow that.
Yes. There's reasons that you have to report it. It's to keep everyone on the same level playing field, for fairness, betting is involved now at this point. Like that's probably the reason these are going to be gone after more and more. It's just, you can't lie about this stuff. And the fact that he keeps doing it, it's like, it's little things. Like, this is not a small injury, but like, again, it's like, what is the point to hiding this? Like, he's clearly not been playing well. So like, you hiding the fact that he was injured hurts you more than anything. Like, fans probably would be a lot more understanding of Darnell Mooney and his issues, and they probably will be now, considering he's trying to play through a broken collarbone. He deserves to be lauded for that. And like, not like reviled and like blamed. And like, yes, I know someone's asking about like, oh, I'm guessing Mooney's frustrated with these passes being high or low, but like, like Penix hasn't been hitting him, but a part of that is because he missed so much time, and they clearly don't have a strong connection at this point. And probably also it's because Mooney is not comfortable. Like, the collarbone affects your movement in so many ways. Like, I would say it's very likely that Mooney's in pain every time he's running. Like, so I mean, I think like we'd be treating this situation so much differently if we knew. And like, other teams can see that he's not healthy. Like, you're not hiding anything other than the exact nature of the injury. So like, why now? Like, why now are you coming clean about this? Did you just forget to keep the facade up? It's like, I don't see the point, like, of saying it now. And like, it's just, I don't get it, man. Like, can he just not help himself? Is he just a liar? Like, does he just lie, like, compulsively? Like, I don't know. Like, he doesn't strike me as that type of guy, but like, this is stacking up, and like, it makes you question everything this man says. He can't be trusted, Adnan. And like, we've known that, like, you can't trust most coaches to straight shoot on like a lot of things. Like, that's normal, but this is beyond that. This is like, you're just lying, like, for what? Like, I don't know. Am I missing something here? Like, it seems like you're just destroying your reputation and your trust for no gain. Like, I don't see an upside to this.
Yeah, I'm trying to like figure out like why exactly, like why, like for what reason? Because yeah, like it looked like and for those that don't remember, Mooney got hurt on, I think it was day 2 of camp.
I think it was day 1.
Yeah,
It was that like bomb on the like at the end of practice.
yeah, Lamar Jackson in coverage.
No,
I remember.
maybe it was day 2. I can't remember,
Yeah,
but it was one of those first days. Yeah.
yeah, I think it was technically day 2 because day 1 was just them, like,
That's right.
reporting.
Yeah.
I think it was day 1 of us being there. So it was like, I think we got there on like day 2. But yeah, it was like one of those where he like dove down the right sideline. I still remember the play well. And yeah, it just like, yeah,
No
I mean,
pads and just, yeah.
yeah, no pads. He was diving. It was a freak injury. It happens. Lamar Jackson, not that Lamar Jackson, the Falcons, Lamar Jackson. He, did what any corner would. He also dove. He ended up like, yeah, falling on top of Darnell Mooney, and it looked like the impact. I mean, now we know the impact did break his collarbone, but yeah, it's like, why? Like, for what reason? Like, what competitive advantage did you gain? Like, but I mean, I guess they sort of, I guess the idea was we're gonna make the Buccaneers game plan for us as if we have Darnell Mooney. But again, that's not allowed. Like, you can't just lie. You can't just straight up lie about the injury, just so that the other team can't like game plan for you. But also, like, the other main thing is, like, you knew he was going to be out. You have IR available to you. You did not utilize IR at all. And how do you not how do you not sign someone? How do you not sign a legitimate receiver? This is why you have that emergency fund that Terry Fontenot keeps every year. Like, that's just roster malpractice at that point.
Yeah,
Like, you really went into the season knowing that your wide receiver 2 is going to be Casey Washington. And no disrespect to Casey Washington, but is that really the wide receiver 2 you expect to have on a playoff team? It's bad. Like, it's really egregious. And I know someone's going to say that we're making too big of a deal about this, but it's just what it adds up. Like this is this isn't just a one-time thing of Raheem Morris, not doing anything else wrong, and then he just like sort of said this. He's been such a bad coach within the margins in every single facet of the game, and this is another like case of that. And the other like big issue for the Falcons, this is their second offense in doing something like this in a few years. The first time, the franchise got fined a certain amount of money. I forget what it was. I think Arthur Smith got fined. I don't know, but like, the NFL could possibly come after a draft pick at this point. And that's just what this franchise needs, down 2 picks already. One of them due to tampering is, was forfeiting another draft pick because your coach decided to just be a liar in the press conference. It's malpractice. It's completely egregious. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't understand. It's just so bad. Like, this regime has done so much to try and like establish this sort of like competitive advantage. Like, it's like the Gestapo at training camp, where it's like nobody's allowed to like record anything, and nobody can like, they try to like limit people's tweets, and it's like, what are you hiding? Like, are you hiding the secret to how to go 7-10 every year?
I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's like, what? You guys suck. Like, what are we keeping under wraps? Like, all these better teams don't care, and like I guess maybe they feel like they're on the knife's. Like, maybe this is an acknowledgement of where they are, which is like, we're literally on the knife's edge. We know our crap is so predictable, like that if we let any of this get out before the season, we're just totally cooked. So we have to keep this all under wraps. Like, I would hope that would actually make them consider making changes, but instead they're like, no, we just need to hide everything we're doing. Like, it's just, you're just lighting your reputation and your trust with the media, which is like a two-way street, right? It's like, we the media understand that you can't tell us 100% the truth about what you're doing. That's normal. We're not asking you to tell us what plays you're going to run on Sunday. We're not asking you to tell us, oh, where are you going to deploy Darnell Mooney on the field? Like, how many snaps is he going to play? We're asking you to tell us that the man has a broken collarbone, like you're contractually obligated to do. And, like, this is more than Raheem Morris signing off on this. Like, you have to know that the blank and the team was okay with this subterfuge. And like you said, it's like, it's also roster management malpractice. Like, because even if you're going to hide it, you still know he has a broken collarbone, and you still know you got to do something at receiver. And they cut DJ Shark. Like, DJ Shark was sort of like their fill-in for Mooney, and they ended up cutting him. And like, DJ Shark's not on a roster, so maybe it was more of a Shark thing than, a Falcons thing. But like, you got to keep looking then. And then, the whole Ike Hilliard thing, again, it's like, if I don't know what to say, guys. If you want more proof, like, that you can't trust what Raheem Morris said about what happened with Ike Hilliard, this is I rest my case. So
Yeah, the thing with Ike Hilliard too, there's no way he could have been okay with that. Like, there's no way he could have been okay with. I'm just guessing. Like, I do not think he would have signed off on just sort of like lying to the media and saying, "Oh yeah, no, like, we're going to completely hide this injury," because it makes Ike Hilliard look really, really bad as a wide receivers coach as well. So it's like, I don't know. Maybe we'll probably never know what happened, like, in that scenario. But it's like, it's clear that Ike Hilliard was just straight up the fall guy. Maybe he said something that ruffled the wrong feathers. And I mean, who knows? Maybe Ray McLeod also said something that ruffled the wrong feathers. Maybe he was upset about Ike Hilliard being gone. And all we can do at this point is speculate. But man, all we know for a fact is that it's really, really bad in that building right now. Like, there is just a level of toxicity around this franchise that we have not seen in a very, very long time. Like, I don't think it was ever this bad, even with Arthur Smith. Like, Arthur Smith, like, for all of his faults, like, it didn't feel this bad. Like, it didn't feel like this downtrodden. Part of that is because 2 out of the 3 years, let's be honest, Arthur Smith was sort of working with what he had, and I think even accomplishing more than what we expected in 21 and 22. Obviously 23 was a disaster, but I don't think it's been this bad around this franchise since Petrino left, since like those days. And it's like, we're sort of at that level, and it's crazy that this is just year 2 since Raheem Morris was hired, that we've somehow achieved not only a lower that's lower than what we had with Arthur Smith, but it's like, it feels like a lower that's rivaling what was there in 07, and that feels impossible.
yeah. And like you said, like, I think the public perception that they wanted to put out was that they were making Ike Hilliard their fall guy for, what was an aberration in week 3, right? I mean, the Falcons have had some bad games, but that one was just the worst. But like, this team has shown that they don't they're not willing to make any changes to anything. They're not even like giving Zach Robinson a slap on the wrist. They're treating him like he's done nothing wrong so far. Like, they've been reluctant to even call anybody out. And so you're telling me that you're looking, but like, you were willing to fire your receivers coach 3 games in, your receivers coach who delivered the best season ever of Drake London's career the year previously, and Darnell Mooney's probably second best. I mean, you could even claim that it was maybe better than his 1,000-yard season.
Ray McLeod's best season as well.
Ray McLeod's, but he turned Ray McLeod into a legit third receiver. He got Darrell Hodge was making plays, and you're telling me that you got to fire him after 3 games? Like, you got to get rid of this guy. This guy's clearly the problem. Like,
honestly, Ike Hilliard was the best part of that coaching staff last year. Like, if we're being honest, and it's like
Dwayne Ledford, I think, is in contention. Dwayne
Ledford. Like, I mean, this is obviously a pro Dwayne Ledford show. Everyone knows that, but yeah, it's And then this year, it's like you fired him with Darnell Mooney out and injured. And you gave him nothing. Like, you gave him no like replacement wide receiver, even though you knew he had a broken collarbone. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, it's I don't know. I don't know what else like can be said about this coaching staff at this point. That, like,
I know they're not telling the truth. I know I know he didn't get fired for performance. I mean, I know that, but exactly why we'll probably never know. Maybe we can get another tip about what Ike Hilliard said. Ike Hilliard hit me up off the record, but
honestly, if I was Ike Hilliard, like, I'm going on the radio.
Like, that's the thing, though. Ike Hilliard's way too much of a professional to do this. Like, he didn't say anything, and like, he probably really wanted to.
If I was him, I'm pouring gasoline on this fire at this point. I'm just like lighting.
He's probably just him and Ray are probably sitting there smiling, because this is probably exactly what they were talking about. Like, and to me, it's just, this whole thing is sick, and you can smell the rot from here. Like, it's so obvious. Like, this staff is, there's good coaches on this staff. There are good coaches on defense, on offense, but I think the leadership at the top, like Zach and Raheem, they have some kind of bad, like, there's bad juju all over this. Like, it is. And the Ike Hilliard thing was just the first domino, but I think that is the worst thing so far. Like, fired your star receiver coach who just delivered the best season you've had from your wide receiver core in like a decade. You fire him after 3 games and say it's performance-based, which, come on. Like, don't insult our intelligence with that statement. I mean, let's be honest. But, like...
Hey, Ike, if you want a show...
Ike, you want to come on? Let's talk about it, yeah.
Grievances, we'll give you as much time as you want. Like, I'll make a cup of coffee and we can talk for hours.
we can break it down, but like Ray McLeod, hit us up, brother. We want to hear from you. We want to hear the truth about what's going on in Atlanta. We have a lot of suspicions, very strong suspicions, and this latest lie by Raheem Morris is just making me even more like, we're past suspicion. We're like, I'm just waiting for like the receipts to come out so we have like exactly what happened. But we'll get Evan right on that, Corey.
We need to get Evan on the
Evan, get in touch with Ray. Let's do this. But it's just, Raheem has lost all trust. He has proven that we can't trust a word he's saying, and that he's willing to lie for like no reason. Like, it's just like, I mean, with the Ike thing, it's like maybe they like regretted the firing and they kind of wanted to quietly do it, and then just like, oh yeah, probably shouldn't have done that. But it's performance. Yep, that's it. That's the tweet. Ugly. This is everything that's happened with regards to this team. The Hilliard firing, I think, was just the canary in the coal mine for how rotten I think things are at the top. And it's so strange to me, Adnan, because Raheem is a guy that's known for his relationships and his friendliness, and like, this doesn't feel friendly to me. Like, this doesn't like so I'm really questioning a lot now. It's like who's the real Raheem? Like, this.
Look,
it's just,
man,
I don't know, man. I have a lot of questions.
Look, when the pressure gets on, and when you are the person that needs to be held the most accountable, that's when that's when the mask kind of falls off, like some people, where it's like it's easier. Like it's a lot easier when when let's say you're in a coordinator position and when you have someone where like the buck doesn't stop with you, the buck like you can pass the buck along to someone else. But then when you are under that pressure where you have to deliver and it's on you, like heavy is the head that wears the crown, like it's the true character like comes out like of people in those scenarios. And I think we sort of may have seen that a little bit with Raheem Morris this season, with the whole injury stuff, with especially with the Ike Hilliard stuff.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, it's I think you're seeing the real Raheem now in times of adversity. Like not to get all philosophical, but our true character is showcased in those times of adversity. Right now, the Falcons are going through adversity, and the mask has fallen off. Like you see what's underneath at this point.
Yeah, it's not good. It's an ugly. It looks ugly under there. So, guys, thank you so much. Real quick note on the odds for this week from FanDuel. We got the Falcons 3.5-point home favorites against the Panthers. I'm surprised by that, considering the Panthers are 5-5 and the Falcons are 3-6. But okay, whatever.
Look, the Falcons and Panthers have split every year since 2020. So the Panthers have not swept the Falcons since 2013. And they just lost to the Saints. And the Falcons do get the 3-point advantage playing at home. So, I mean,
yeah, seems fair.
Yeah,
seems fair.
Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a division game. But yeah, guys, thanks again for joining us here. Oh, go ahead.
We haven't even talked about we were live for an hour and 20 minutes. We haven't even mentioned the game at all.
Yeah, I know. We'll cover that. Who cares about the game? That doesn't matter. The game don't matter. No, we'll have a game preview for you guys. We'll go over the Falcons Panthers matchup a little bit more when we get a little bit more information about the injury report. Spoiler alert: it looks really bad for the Falcons, so we'll see if anything changes on Thursday. But right now, it looks pretty scary. So we'll see. But we do appreciate everyone for hanging out with us here tonight. I want to thank Adnan Ikic especially for his time at Say Which Way. Adnan, anything else you want to plug before we sign off?
Yeah, just series history and what if the Falcons win or lose. Articles are going to be going this weekend. So, yeah, check those out. And, yeah, stick with the Falcoholic even through.
We'll be here, yeah.
We'll be
please
here.
Keep clicking, yeah. Please keep clicking, yeah.
But please like the show. Please.
Yeah, subscribe, all that. We're really close to 9K, so you could be the one that gets us there. We're like 10 subscribers away from 9K, I think. So if you guys want to help us get over the hump tonight, do that. That'd be great. I love that. It's like whoever the QB coaches needs to help out. Nobody, and Corey says nobody knows, even Penix. Nobody knows who the QB coach is. Yep. That does track, I think.
They're actually giving Michael Penix a very important scavenger hunt where if he finds all the artifacts, he can find out who his quarterback coach is.
The quarterback coach is just like ChatGPT on the handheld, and it's like, oh, we noticed like in this play you were doing this, and it's just like complete garbage. It's just like, oh yeah, you should have run to the left. It's like the Falcons
and the Falcons are going to tell us that they're utilizing,
they're innovating,
cutting edge AI to help their teams.
We're pushing the boundaries of coaching beyond where we even thought they could go.
It's innovation like you've never seen before.
Yeah, that actually would track at this point. I would not be surprised if we find out that at the end of the season. But thank you guys so much for joining us here on the Falcoholic Live presented by FanDuel. We'll be back with our game preview for you guys on Friday. And then, of course, post-game coverage of another normal 1 o'clock game for this team. I feel like we haven't had too many of those this year so far. But we'll be back with it. Yeah.
The NFL sure as hell won't make the same mistake of giving us 5 primetime games next year. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. The Falcons have delivered. They've delivered good games. I mean, they haven't won them really, but they have like delivered. So maybe we'll get some more. Yeah.
I'm actually all for them flexing us out of that primetime slot against the Rams because I don't want to see what the Rams are going to do to this team on prime time. Yeah, I don't need the nation seeing that.
But nobody needs to see that.
Yeah. Hide that away in the 1 p.m. slot, please, NFL, please.
Yeah. Be reasonable, NFL. But guys, thanks for joining us here, Falcoholic Live. and we will be back later this weekend for the post-game coverage. Until then, thank you guys so much. I'm Kevin Knight of Falcoholic. Kevin, he's on Ikic at Say Which Way. Like, subscribe, leave that 5-star rating your podcast platform of choice. If you want to support the show, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/Falcoholic Live. Also, YouTube channel memberships. We'll see you guys real soon. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for surviving the season with us. We'll continue to survive. They can't bring us down. We're going to be here one way or the other, so we hope you'll continue to join us. Even if you get tired of watching the games, don't worry. We'll tell you everything you need to know here. So we got you guys covered. So in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll see you guys on Friday and then on Sunday. Until then.
Go Hawks.
Yeah, go Hawks. Something positive there. Let's do it.
Kicking off in 30 minutes. Let's go.
Yes, hopefully a team that actually can win games for a change. So, all right, guys.